Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will tell you that if one does not do that, doesn't play with the private organ or with the private part, she might be overcome or
Yeah,
overwhelmed
to
by
commit.
sexual desire,
Yeah.
and this may lead him to go out and commit
Adultery or
adultery or
fornication.
fornication, whatever the case is. But that's not the tradition. It is, sorry, of course, in the opinion of the ulama, it is not haram, it's makruh. But what I'm trying to say is this.
It's macro.
Makruh is, okay, you have what they call haram, which is strictly prohibited, and the commission of haram leads to sin and to liability here and the hereafter. But makruh is not, it's a lesser degree of haram. It's not purifiable. It's not haram, though it doesn't lead to any sin, but it's not purifiable. But what I want to say is this. What Islam teaches is that if a young man, for instance, under a situation like that, if he wants to suppress the sexual, desire and feeling in himself, let him fast. And the same thing also applies to a woman. Let the person fast. When you fast, keep on fasting the whole day from morning to evening, no food, no drink. And fasting is an act of ibadah, it's an act of worship. You understand? And because it's an act of worship, it elevates the spiritual status of the individual, of the fasting person. It makes the fasting person very close to God, spiritually speaking. It links him directly to a God. And in this way, Shaitan is away from him. Because sometimes these are interventions that the devil does against pious people, against people who are potentially good, so that eventually they may end up destroying their own chances in the future, or destroying their own health, or destroying their faith. And because of the involvement of Shaitan or the devil in a situation like this, it is very good for the person to fast. Because once he engage in fasting, and the same thing also applies to a young woman, a young person, let them fast. Well, if you're fasting continuous, if you're fasting, then that sexual desire will definitely be suppressed, and eventually the person will be saved and protected from committing any act of adultery or any sinful act.
When you talk about fasting, something came to my mind. I understood that at some point the Prophet ﷺ used to fast continuously without breaking his fast for more than a day, for 2 days. Now, can someone do that?
That's an interesting question. Fasting or sawm is a technical term. You understand? As far as Sharia is concerned, and from the Sharia point of view, legally speaking, fasting means to keep away from food and drink and sexual intercourse from morning to dusk. There's nothing like night fasting as far as Islam is concerned. So what I do know from the point of view of the fiqh al-Islami, fasting ends immediately after Maghrib, and that is exactly what is in line also with the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad. Remember this principle of ta'jilul iftar or ta'jilul suhoor. Delay the early morning breakfast, that is suhoor, but quickly get into the breakfast when night falls. You understand? So fasting here means the Sharia, the legal fasting of Sharia, which begins with dawn and ends with dusk.
Okay. When a non-Muslim says to you, Assalamu alaikum, you as a Muslim, what should be your response?
This is a very interesting issue that you are raising. I know where the question is leading to, but my advice is, particularly, there is what you call the siyasa to da'wah, the politics of propagation, or the politics of da'wah. If a non-Muslim says Assalamu alaikum, say wa alaikum assalam. That's my advice.
That's what the Prophet says.
Full stop. Yeah, but then, if you read all the classical sources, there are other formulas that they have, like wa alaikum. Instead of going back to the salam, Salaam alaikum, wa alaikum. And if the person is not only a non-Muslim, but if he's an enemy of Islam, in fact, they will say alaikum assalam, like praying against the person. But what I am saying is this: you have to put every principle or every rule of Sharia in the context of the moment that you are living in. Like the case is when it comes to giving out the meat of Tobaski. You understand? Strictly speaking, in the laws of Islam, it is preferred that you give the cooked meat to the non-Muslim than giving the raw one to the non-Muslim. But if you come to a point where you're living in a community or in a society where people don't have that precise understanding of Sharia, and going that way may create negative understanding of Islam in themselves, and therefore they will bring that will bring the reputation of Islam down to them, or it may lead to them, sort of not liking the Muslims and their culture and their way of life. You can give the raw meat, and the same thing also will apply here. Whether you say wa alaikum or wa alaikum salam, in my humble opinion, they're all the same, and they all can go. Wallahu alam.
Interesting. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, is he dead or alive?
Well, this is not fiqh anymore now. It's, how do I call it? Is it theology? Is it theology?
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting. We do believe in Islamic law that Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam will appear again before the end of this creation. But these are
meaning
before the end of this world, before the end of this creation. And according to the ulama of Islam, as you know very well, when he comes back, he comes and he will not come back with the original message with which he was sent. He will come back to reinforce and preach the message of Islam, the message that was preached by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In other words, he's not coming as a prophet, but he's coming as a member of the Islamic faith. Wallahu alam.
It means he's not dead.
Well, I don't want to, because these are.
But people need to know, Sas.
Yes, I do know. I mean, why I'm saying this, I don't want to. Well, whether he is dead or he's not dead, I cannot say anything right now. But I want to believe that, he might not have died. He's not dead, in other words.
Okay.
And wallahu alam.
Okay. This lady said her husband impregnated another girl outside. Now, as a result of that, can she opt out of the marriage? You explained that earlier that she has the right to opt out even without a reason, but is this a genuine reason?
In our society today, usually the reasons are not necessarily genuine. There are reasons which are more related to jealousy, to selfishness, individualistic, attitude than to reasons of piety, faithfulness of God. But again, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like saying, even without any reason, she can opt out of a marriage. Why not? She can opt out of the marriage if she doesn't have to go. Because it is also a very bad, a very funny situation. A man with a wife at the house, with everything available, instead of getting married to another woman, he goes all the way to commit for adultery and up to the extent of impregnating a girl. That will bring disrepute to the family, and it brings the name of the family down. So in this case, yes, she has the right to opt out of marriage.
Okay. Most of the time, children defecate, right? Now, their mothers are responsible for cleaning them in most cases, especially in our case here. If you perform ablution already and then clean.
Sorry, before you go, just something that just occurred to me concerning the question on Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam. Because of normally these are issues that has a lot of debate, a lot of arguments among the ulama, and I would prefer to suspend my opinion on this until I come back next time.
Yeah, because the reason Allah said in the Quran, "Ma qataluhu."
I know.
So,
but it is better to refer to this verse of the Holy Quran, the opinion of the ulama. And the ulama, particularly the ulama of tafsir, usually with issues like this, they have their opinions. So it's better to go back to their opinions, and we will come back to this.
Okay. Now we take this question. If you perform ablution and a child just defecated, so you come to clean that child of those dirts. So it means it touches you after ablution. Does it affect your ablution?
No. And we said this before. We said the only thing when it comes to defecation or whatever filthy substance that can spoil ablution is the only one that comes out of the person himself or herself. But any other filthy substance coming